Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Argent Saga. Today we're going to be getting into a video of a few cards that I feel like y'all should be either A, getting excited for, or B, cards you should, try and focus on picking up for when the first set, Betrayal, comes out. I feel like this video is pretty well timed with pre-releases being this weekend and then the set dropping next week, so I think it would be a good time. Terribly sorry for the lack of uploads. I wanted to upload a few. Like, I tried to record something on my laptop, realized the quality wasn't too good, and I wanted to give y'all a little bit better quality than like really poor frame rate. So I'll probably have to look into getting a new laptop soon. It's fine. I was gonna get a new one anyways. And then I was like, I was gonna bring you live gameplay videos, and I was like, I feel like a lot of people don't want to see more Hoenn Sola versus Jamail Sola, because I feel like that's what a lot of people saw. So I'm just gonna wait for the first set to come out before we start making some more. I'm finishing up all the Patreon stuff. That should be finalized and everything. I think how I have it set up, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have like market price watch Mondays and a bunch of other fun stuff like that. So, but anywho, into the video. So these are the cards, so these are a bunch of cards. I have them categorized in like 6 different categories. We're going to go through each one. I'll let y'all know when we go to the next category. But these are cards that I feel that you should look up or look to be attaining. Get excited that you get them. And if you pull them foil, keep them. Or just get excited that you pull it. Because I think that these cards will be money if you pull them foil. And if not, they're just going to be staples for whatever deck you're trying to play. So the first section I have, it's a removal / good cards. So this section's really focused about like really good cards. Preferably probably getting them in foil. Most of them do come in foil. Like, I believe these two are super rares. These are rare, so I believe these also come in foil. And then the commons, if you pull them in foil. So, first one's Supply Deal. It's a card that I feel like is going to be staple in almost every light deck. You discard it's a 1-drop spell. You discard a gear to draw 2 cards. You essentially cycle for 2 cards. It's going to be really good in that deck. That deck, I don't think needs the amount of card draw, but it definitely helps. But I definitely think this card's good. If you pick up foils of these, I think because there's no set rotation yet, and because it's the first set coming out, I think that these are definitely worth picking up in foil. And I think these could be a pretty penny if you sit on enough of them and if you just start collecting a lot of them. So. Next up is Ancient Serpent's Breath. It kind of speaks for itself. It's a 1-drop insta-cast spell. As an additional cost to play this card, you may shard drain 1. If you do, return target unit to the top of its owner's deck. And then its original effect, just without that, is return target unit cost 2 or less to its owner's hand, then you draw a card. So it replaces itself. You can pay it for free because of the shard drain, and then you get to essentially bounce 2 things. It's a really good card. I would definitely look into trying to pick these up foil if you can. If you can't pick them up foil, don't worry too much, because you can probably trade for the full art promos that are going to be from the release tournaments. They'll probably be a little bit easier for you to find. I don't really know which ones will be more, because I feel like you can pull these in a pack. I imagine probably the foil ones will be more, because they'll probably be a little harder to pull, but still. Still a good card to look into. I would definitely make sure you get a place into this card. This card's going to see play, whether it be main deck or sideboard. One quick note, and I forgot that I told him I would shout him out, but shout out to John Tata of True Duelist, I believe. True Duelist TCG? I don't know. But they're another Argent Saga content creator. I asked in the Argent Saga page. He was the first one to respond. I told him I would shout him out in the video. I didn't get the name of the other gentleman that also commented on it, but giant shout out to you as well. Thank you very much. All right, back to the video. Terribly sorry about that. But, so, next up is a Statue of the Argent Tower. It is a 2-drop augment, so it just goes into your augment zone. Hasn't arrived to draw a card, so when it enters the field, it automatically replaces itself, which is already really good. And then its effect is, and then it has another effect where you sacrifice this card, shuffle up to 3 target units from your discard zone into your deck. So you can recycle cards that you need. It replaces itself. I think this card, I've seen this card see play in certain decks. I imagine for like some decks that don't have enough inherent draw power and kind of need to like recycle things and just to keep everything moving. So I definitely think this card's good. I imagine this is one of the ones that you'll probably want to like try and get a playset of. If you can get a foil playset of it, it's definitely not bad. This card's gonna see play for a while, and I'm pretty sure this card might actually be staple in most, if not all, sideboards. So definitely a good card, especially since it's Argent, so you can play it in anything. But next up is Molten Explosion. It's a 2-drop instacast spell, so you can play it during either player's turn, and it reads destroy target unit with 2,000 power or less. So this is Bread's premium removal spell. Just really good card. Can't say enough good things about it. It's definitely going to be one of the cards that you should definitely look to get a playset of. I think this card's going to probably be a decent price, and it's going to stay that price for a while. I don't know. I can't really like guesstimate like what price it will be, but I definitely think it's one of the cards that you should be looking up, especially looking into picking up, especially if you're looking to play Fire or just or you have a bunch of people at your locals that play Fire, and it's just going to be a card that a lot of people are going to be looking for. So the next two are kind of together, but it's kind of the same idea. It's a Caliber, the Sacred Shard Sword, and Longinus, the Mythical Shard Lance. They're both 2-drop augment gears, equipped to target unit. They both give plus 1,000 power. Caliber reads, you can sacrifice this card. The target unit, or this target unit though, so the one that it's attached to, can't be targeted by spells or abilities, and then you draw a card. And then you can only have one Caliber in play, so this protects your creature, and you can sacrifice this to deal 1,500 to another unit, and you can only have one Longinus to play, which is perfectly fine. Having these are pretty much also going to be staple in your light decks. Their removal, their protection, Caliber can replace itself. The only downside is you can only have one of them in play at a time, but that's not much of a drawback because I imagine if you're playing a Lima deck, you'll be able to search out whichever one of these and then just keep cycling them through whenever you need them. So definitely two cards to look into getting, and definitely trying to foil them out and pick them up. At least get a playset. Nope, don't know what that was. My apologies. So next one is Garga, Keeper of Gales. It's a 5-drop unit beast, 3,000. Hasn't arrived. Choose a cost. Return all units of the chosen cost of their owner's hands. If 2 or more units were returned to the hand this way, this card gains quickness. So this card in certain parts of the games can win you the game just by itself. It's really strong. The fact that it can potentially just come in, clear an entire board depending on what it looks like, and then it still gets quickness, and just the fact that you return 2 units to the hand, so you can bounce one of your own, bounce one of theirs, and then he has quickness in it, so you can just get right in. So I definitely think this card's going to be worth stuff. Definitely look into picking up foil. I know that the Kickstarter had this as one of the promos, and I believe it had the stamp promo on the card. So if you pick those up, or if you have them, I would definitely keep them. I think this card's going to see play to the point that if you have the Kickstarter ones, those are going to be worth money, more than's already projected. And just picking these up in foil is just going to be worth it. And just getting this in like your pre-release or even from your box just seems to be worth it. So next up is Tidal Rush. I think this card is fantastic. I said to a lot of other people. It's a 3-drop instacast spell, so you can play it during either player's turn. And it reads, as an additional cost to play this card, you may Shard Drain 1. If you do, return target unit to its owner's hand. And then it just regularly reads, return target unit to its owner's hand, then draw a card. So for 3, you can Shard Drain 1, so it essentially becomes a 2-drop. You can bounce 2 things and then draw a card, so it replaces itself. I believe Jeff Jones said this was a super rare because it doesn't have an actual like rarity thing down here in the bottom middle. But that's totally fine. Pick up a playset of this card. Pick up a bunch of these cards. This card is pretty much going to be staple, I imagine, in almost every water deck or almost any deck that can splash water because this card's just too good. Next up is Amorphagus. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. But it is a 5-drop unit, 2,500. And this card's really simple. It has Guardian, and then it has a Ruined to create a 1,000 Argent blob token with Guardian. So the fact that you pay 5 and you essentially get 2 Guardians out of it with about 3,500 power is really strong. There's already a bunch of decks that's already seeing this card's already seen playing. I'm planning on running a few decks with it just because it's really good. I think this card can actually be run in almost any deck and probably should be ran in almost every deck just because you get to essentially deal with 2 attacks, and that can be relevant and save you from dying. So next up is Finishing Ray. Definitely a really good card. I noticed that there's a lot of light cards in this list. Do I still have? Oh, nope, I took that one out. Oh well. Um, Anywho, finishing rate, it's real simple. It's a 4-drop spell. You only play it during your turn. That doesn't matter because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be destroying all units. So it's a board wipe in the game. I imagine it's probably going to be a pretty penny. It really just depends on like the decks that you're running and what you're going up against. But I definitely think this card's worth picking up. I think it's going to be really good in the Betrayal format. I think it's going to be really good and constructed. I've never not known a bad time for a board wipe, so card's just real good. I definitely recommend picking it up, and if you pull one of these, you're going to be set for a while. Or, not for a while, but you'll be okay. So next up, I have the Augment Fields, and these are, so they're aligned with one of each attribute, and they're all really powerful for just, like, their specific decks. So, like, the water one goes in, like, a Gillian deck, probably, more than a Jamail deck. Skytree Command Center probably goes better with an Etan deck than an Ariana deck, but still really good. Hidden Laboratory kind of forces you just to run it with Hoenna, but it's fine because there's no downside with running it with Hoenna. Dragonic Zone, really strong card. Really good with Dragonhold. Also, the Dragon Throne, I believe it was, or the Dragon Volt. I don't remember, but the other rare Fire Augment is also really good. There's a bunch of really good combos with that, and you can essentially just make your deck into a toolbox, which is just really powerful, I feel like. So definitely look into picking that up. And this card, I feel like this card's really good for people who are more on a budget and just really want to try and pick up the cards. And then Core War Room, I already know this card's seeing a lot of play in certain Liam decks and a few Aron decks. Card's just real good. Makes all your gears cost 1 less. I can make almost all of them cost 0 to 1, and that's just really strong. So if you could pick up these cards in foil, I would definitely recommend it. And I mean, you never know, because these are our only augment fields right now, so they might be a pretty penny right when they come out, because I imagine if you're running like most monocolored decks, you're going to probably want at least a playset of these, depending on what it is, but I don't know. That's, again, this is also just my opinion on it, so, but, next up we have the non-basic shards. So it's one for each attribute, one of them gives a different effect. This one lets you do exhaust and pay 2 to destroy an augment. This one lets you recycle a dragon and discard a card. This one lets you mill yourself for 1, which can be really good with an Ergon deck. This lets you exhaust, pay 1, and you give something Guardian and +5, or something with Guardian +5, so you could potentially save your Guardian units. This one, it's not bad. It might see some play farther down the line. And then Cryptic Crystal, I feel like this one's going to see play in a lot of decks just because Fizzy's really strong, and the fact that you get to essentially look at the top 2 and put them back in any order. So definitely not bad. I feel like the mindset for this is kind of like just like any game that runs like cards that are like resources, kind of like Magic or Force of Will. That like you once you pick up your playset of all of them, you don't have to worry about it if a deck comes out that, let's say Zephyr Crystal becomes like the best special shard, and you don't have any. You know, before you were able to pick them up. Let's say they come out on release and they're only like $5 a piece. Now. Said deck comes out, makes Zephyr Crystal really good, makes it absolutely broken, and you're paying like $15 to $20 a piece when you could just pick them up and not have to worry about it later on. Do I actually think that's going to happen? Not really, but you never know. You know, anything can happen in this game. We're also only at set 1, so. But I would definitely just pick up your playsets of all of them. There's no reason not to. They're just really strong. So next up, if any of y'all watch my review videos about each color for the pre-release format, or just constructed, y'all know how I feel about these. It are the Omega Magics. I feel like these are the equivalent of like commands in this game for any of you that played Magic, but like a little less powerful, and which is good. But I think all of these are going to be staple in almost any deck that can run them. Like some of them will probably see more play than some. Like Mizu will probably definitely see more play. I can definitely see Yami seeing a lot more play. Kaze might see some play. It just depends on like what it is, but still not a bad card. None of these are really bad. I definitely recommend picking up a playset of all of them. There's just no point in not, because you never know. It's kind of the same thing with the stones. Like once you get your playset of them, you're pretty much set. So next up, And we're almost at our last part. It's the legends. So these are the legendary creatures. You can only have one of them in your deck. And why I'm telling you all this is because these are, I believe, pretty much the chase cards out of the set so far. And it all depends on like what color you're trying to play and like what deck you're trying to build. As of right now, like one legendary seems to be for like a really niche play style, and then one of them just seems to be all around good. I think the only way that it kind of overlaps so far is like Mayu, because she's like a little niche because she's like Shard Drain, and whenever you use Shard Drain, but like she's just also just a really powerful card. But I definitely think I would personally get excited if I pulled any of these, if I'm even playing in an event, or in a Betrayal format, or even just having these, because Philosopher's Stone, it's going to be a lot of money. It's a free tutor, or not a free tutor, but it's essentially a tutor in black that's really powerful. Sophia's already seeing a lot of play in a bunch of different straight air decks or stuff that's splashing air decks, so it's just a really strong card. I haven't heard much about any of the other colors. That doesn't mean that they're not good, though. There's definitely no reason not to be excited that you get them, and there's no reason not for you to try and at least pick up one of each, just to make sure you have, because you never know. These cards may be not a lot of money. They may be a lot of money. So I would definitely recommend looking into picking them all up. I'm going to try and collect them all. But our last ones, it's the other two legends. That's not the Ariana's Amulet. But it's Twilight Knight and Professor Rudy. So Professor Rudy kind of makes sense. He, as long as he's on board, whenever you play something with Arrive, essentially its effect doubles. So you'll get double draw triggers off of Jealousy, off of Golem of Avarice. You'll get double random discard triggers, and so on and so forth. So he's just really strong. No reason for you not to try and pick him up. But this guy is seeing play in a lot of different decks. And he's actually almost seeing play in all decks that I've been seeing there, and it makes sense. There's no reason not to run this guy. He's a 6-drop 3K, which is already really great. He has Destroyer, so he's almost guaranteed to kill 2 towers. He has an Arrive, where you destroy a unit with Guardian, and if you do, he gains Quickness. So you play him on 6, kill a Guardian, he'll gain Quickness, and he has Destroyer. So he forces your opponent to either have 2 Guardians at all time, or they're taking out 2 or you get to take out 2 towers right when you play him. He's just a very strong card. There's no reason not to try and pick up this card, and there's no reason not to get excited about this card when you pull him in pre-release. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what y'all think. If y'all agree with me, let me know down in the comments below. If you disagree with me, and if you think I missed some cards, let me know. I think the only one I actually missed was like Poisonous Strike. It's the Darkness instacast that deals minus 2,000, I believe, to target attacking or blocking creature. But because I feel like that card is just also really good. You should definitely pick up a playset of those. But yeah, guys, let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, giant shout out again to John Tata for letting me know about the rarities. Y'all have a great day. All right, bye-bye. Oop.